have you been to the gas station lately? Seen those prices ticking up? Well, today we're going to break down exactly how a military strike on this tiny island all the way over in the Persian Gulf is directly connected to what you're paying right at the pump. Let's get into it.
All right, let's just start with this number, 367. You've probably been seeing something like this, maybe even worse, where you live. That's the national average for a gallon of regular this week. And yeah, we're all feeling that pinch. But believe it or not, this number is a direct result of a conflict that's heating up fast.
So why? I mean, that's the big question, right? Why this sudden jump? Well, the answer starts with one single, very targeted military strike that has sent, and I mean this literally, shockwaves through the entire global energy market. Okay, so to really get this, we've got to travel thousands of miles away, all the way to Iran. If you want to understand the price you're paying, first you have to understand this one tiny but absolutely critical spot on the map, Karg Island.
So get this. Just 2 weeks into this whole thing, the U.S. military comes out and says, yep, we conducted strikes on this island, which leads to the obvious question. Why there? Out of all the places, why was this specific location the target?
And here's the answer. This is why it's so important. Karg Island isn't just some random island. It's the main export terminal for, wait for it, a staggering 90% of Iran's crude oil. I mean, you can't overstate this. It's the economic jugular for their entire oil industry.
So the official line came straight from the president. He was careful to say the U.S. only hit military targets, not the oil infrastructure itself. But, and this is a huge but, read between the lines of this statement. It's a clear warning. It basically says if Iran keeps messing with ships in the Strait of Hormuz, all bets are off.
Now, obviously, you can't just strike a place that important to a country and expect things to stay calm. It just doesn't work that way. So, as you'd probably guess, the attack pretty much immediately caused the whole conflict to spiral and get a lot more dangerous.
So how did it get more dangerous? Well, for starters, the Pentagon started getting ready to send in thousands more troops. That number right there, 2,500, that represents a whole Marine expeditionary unit getting sent over. That is a major increase in boots on the ground.
And from there, it just became this chaotic, tit-for-tat escalation, Iran cracks down on the Strait of Hormuz, hitting more than 16 tankers. Then, a missile hits the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. On the flip side, you've got 5 U.S. planes damaged at a Saudi airbase, and then boom, a new wave of airstrikes hits the Iranian capital. The whole thing was just spiraling out of control.
Okay. So we've got all this chaos, all this military action happening halfway around the world. How on earth does that connect back to your wallet? Well, let's connect those dots. Let's talk about why we're feeling it at the pump.
All right, this is where the rubber really meets the road, financially speaking. If there's one thing global markets absolutely hate, it's uncertainty. And this conflict, it's pure uncertainty. So what happens? Benchmark crude oil prices, they just shot up to around $100 a barrel. And that, as you can see, leads directly to the prices we're seeing, that $3.67 for regular and a jaw-dropping $5 for a gallon of diesel.
And let me tell you, that $5 price for diesel, that's a huge deal. Think about it. Pretty much everything you buy, from your phone to your food, gets to the store on a truck. And guess what? Those trucks run on diesel. So when their fuel costs go up, the cost to ship everything goes up. And that means the price you pay for, well, everything starts to creep up too.
So all of this, it brings us right here, to today, to this really dangerous standoff where nobody is quite sure what happens next. Both sides have drawn their lines in the sand, and honestly, the stakes could not be any higher.
I mean, just look at the language they're using. It's intense. The U.S. is basically saying your oil infrastructure could be next. And Iran's response? They're threatening to turn any U.S.-linked oil facilities into, and I quote, a pile of ashes. I mean, it doesn't get much more direct than that. This is the definition of a high-stakes poker game.
So, that's where we are. We started this whole thing talking about the price of gas, right? But now we're looking at a situation where the entire global oil supply is on the line. The question isn't just about what we're going to pay at the pump anymore. The real question is, what's the price the entire world will pay for whatever move comes next?